there, fellow truth seekers. Are you ready to dive deep into the mysteries of the universe? Look no further than isisrealpc.com, your one-stop destination for all things mysterious and unexplained. From captivating podcast episodes to thought-provoking articles, our website is packed with fascinating content that will leave you questioning reality. Visit isisrealpc.com today and join our community of curious minds as we explore the unknown together. Don't just wonder, discover the truth today at isisrealpc.com. Welcome, everybody, to another fantastic season and episode of Is This Real?
Is this real?
Tonight's episode, as you heard Big Joe say, we are talking about famous shipwrecks in this new season, season 14, Oceans and Space 2. Oceans and Space 1 we did in season 7, I think it was. And now we're talking about Oceans and Space again this season. So, in the booth tonight, we have Big Joe. Big Joe, say hello.
Hello, Big Joe. How are you?
And the first time in a while, we have Bubba. Bubba, say hello.
How you doing?
Back with us, how many seasons has it been? 2 or 3 seasons now?
A lot.
Cito is back with us tonight. Say hello to Cito as we start the season 14.
Everybody. I am
big
back.
shout out.
What's up?
Big shout out to Cito. Just to cut you off a minute, Joe. He was at school. He was getting a trade. He's learning his stuff. And we all know that's the most important thing. So big shout out to Cito.
Aw, thank
And welcome
y'all.
back.
Thank y'all.
Behind the booth, we do have Joshua Roadblock. You see him?
What's going on, everybody? Yo, yo.
And we will have the Pope. He'll be coming back next week. But we do want to say Mr. West will not be joining us anymore as he's taking his journey somewhere else. And we wish all the best to Mr. West. And maybe, hopefully in the future, he will be back with us. But you may see him on some other podcast we have. You may not. But until then, thank you, Mr. West, for joining for all those seasons that you have. And we'll see you, hopefully, in the future. As we ended last season we did theology and occultism, where Cito missed, and he's a little upset that he missed that.
You didn't miss much.
But yes, the last couple episodes that Joshua missed, you and Anthony were going back and forth on all of it.
Well, that's going to happen.
That was fun.
When you put me and Anthony together, that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, I was just sitting back there like, what? But, yeah, so famous shipwrecks to start this Oceans and Space season. And we did some famous shipwrecks. I think we did some of it in season 7. We also did earlier in like season 4. We did the Titanic a little bit. We touched on that brilliantly when we did the Bring Your Own Topic episode. And, we did something we tried.
Hey, we were babies then. Now we're toddlers. So, come on.
True, I guess.
Big ass baby.
But we all are bringing our own famous shipwreck this week, and we'll start with you, Cito. Please tell me what your famous shipwreck is and why you chose it.
Okay, so this is going to sound really stupid, but first off, I chose the HMS Erebus and the HMS Terror only because it sounded cool. That
makes sense.
Good enough reason.
Because who decided to name a ship Erebus and Terror? That's gangster. Anyways, so for these two ships, right? They were, first off, when they were discovered, it was 2014 and 2016. And it doesn't say which one was discovered first, which one was discovered second. But HMS Terror was built in Topsham, English, whatever, Devon, and it was launched in 1813. These are older ships. So the ship was a bomb vessel with an extremely strong hull built to withstand the impact of explosions. Terror began its career as a ship of the war, involved in several battles of the 1812 against the United States. HMS Erebus was built by the Royal Navy in Pembroke Dockyard, Wales, in 1826. And again, these were both military-style ships. But so, what happened was, the reason why they sank is the Erebus joined the Terror for an expedition to the opposite Earth, basically Antarctic, and under the command of James Clark Ross. And these ships were completely refitted with additional strengthening for internal heating, basically to help each other out and help the crew members for the cold temperature.
Okay.
So what ended up happening was that eventually at some point, due to conditions, the ships both end up crashing into each other.
Ooh.
So, yeah, it was in 1842.
So it was a very, very bad round of What's that game that you run at each other?
Chicken.
Chicken. Yeah. Chicken. It's a very, very bad. They both lost.
Yeah, so in 1842, the Erebus came close to destroying each other. The Erebus and Terror came close to destroying each other. So what happened was the Erebus was suddenly forced to turn because of an iceberg. And because of that turning, and especially because due to both of them being warships, and one of them being meant to take more damage to the hull, you would it's like a Ford, like it's like a Toyota running into a tank.
Oh. Also, one was just obliterated.
Yeah, basically they both sank, but it's because of the fact of one was more built to actually take damage, and because of that, the damage to the other ship was a lot more.
Holy shit.
Yeah, it's actually really interesting. Like, I didn't want to get anything wrong, that's why I'm reading off. But like, basically, a lot of people died. They were caught on rock hard ice, like especially since it was in the Arctic, right?
Yeah.
It's the temperature, all that. It's the conditions weren't great. So imagine your final death is in the watery grave of the Antarctic.
That's gotta be. I mean,
that's probably worse than fucking. How many people died on it?
Let me double check.
Because what I'm getting from this one, because I'm searching it up right now also, is that 129 men on both ships were lost.
Yeah. 129 to 139.
Yeah, that it says it is the worst disaster in the history of the British polar expedition.
Mm-hmm. And only 30 bodies have been found.
Only 30 have been found?
Mm-hmm. So that's why the numbers between 129 to 139 are a little skewed, because it's not the counting of the bodies between the 10 are not sure if like they were actual crew members or were they like already counted for or not.
Wow.
what's weird about this? I mean, about the what the first one you were saying there, the Nemesis or
Erebus.
It was actually a steamship. It had steam and it was run by sails, of course, but it was done 7 psi for the steam. I mean, think about that. That's 30 horsepower. That's like nothing. I mean, people walk faster than that nowadays. It's crazy. And this thing was. What do you think is going to happen when it gets up in the Arctic there, up in the upper reaches of Canada? It's crazy. I mean, I don't.
There was a movie. No, I'm sorry, a British TV show on the BBC that talked about the Terror, and it was 10, 15 episodes. Like, didn't last very long, but like it had George Takei in it, Jared Harris, Derek Mio, Tobias Menzies. There's a lot of people like who are well-known actors that were in this, and it actually looks pretty fucking awesome. I'm not gonna lie.
No, honestly, I didn't even come across that. I might have to check it out. But what's interesting to me is how durable the ship was, because for being built for a bombing ship, you would expect only one to sink. But when coming colliding together, right, in the Arctic, we see icebergs being a trend of the downfall of ships.
Mm-hmm.
So it's interesting how ramming into each other was the cause of this. Is like there's not really any conspiracy theory behind it, but it's more of just like the circumstances under it.
Right.
Well, I think that's what it is for a lot of maybe besides the Titanic and some other ships. There's not a lot of conspiracy theories with ships, unless you're talking about, which we are talking about this season later down the line. If you're talking about the Bermuda Triangle.
Yeah.
Because we haven't talked about that in
Conspiracy
Theory podcast, and we didn't talk about that. But
that's a whole different can of worms. But it's interesting because most ships is like collide with like weather or whatever, or natural causes of like icebergs. But just the fact that this ship was caused because of ship versus ship, in the case of, I just found it really interesting overall.
All right, Bubba, you want to do your ship?
Yeah.
All right, what's your ship about?
My ship is the Edmund Fitzgerald.
You might want to talk up just a little bit, Bubba.
The Edmund Fitzgerald.
All right.
It sank November 10th, 75, with the loss of an entire crew of 29 men. When launched on June 7th of 58, she was the largest ship in North America, Great Lakes, and remains the largest to have sunk there. She was located in deep water on November 14th, 75 by U.S. Navy aircraft Detective Magnet, and found soon afterwards to be in 2 large pieces. Okay. Namesake Edmund Fitzgerald, president of Northwestern Mutual. That's what they named it after. Owner, Northwestern Mutual Life Insurance Company. Operator, Columbia Transport Division. Part of the registry was Milwaukee, Wisconsin. It was ordered on February 1st, 1957. Yard number 301. Laid down August 7th, 1957. Launched June 7th, 58. Maiden voyage September 24th, 1958.
Oh, this was on. I didn't know it sank in the Great Lakes.
Yeah.
Yes, sank in the Great
It
Lakes.
was like the biggest one ever sinking.
Yes, the biggest wreck.
That's
in the-
crazy.
yes.
I didn't know they didn't have like this is a warship too, or no?
No, it's
No.
it was a bulk carrier. Carried iron ore.
Oh, okay. What I'm getting here is 29 men died on there,
29 men.
and apparently it sank at record, like it sank really fucking fast. It sank 530 feet, and it's at about 17 nautical miles an hour.
There was a ship in front of it during the storm, and the waves were so big they seen the light of the ship and then looked back and it was gone.
Jesus.
So they're saying it went down head first and was actually split in half.
Yeah, I'm reading also on here. It says the heavy cargo shifted forward quickly while the Fitzgerald was going down, and then the bow of the ship hit the bottom with such force that it snapped in two. So kind of like the Titanic, but in a different way.
Yeah.
Like where the Titanic was, the first half of the ship when it was sinking filled with water, and then while it was going down, it snapped in half because of the
There's
how
a lot of
fucking big it
theories saying that the big metal plates that cover the cargo weren't bolted down enough, which they never really proved. And the reason why the bodies were never recovered because of the depth and the cold water. The bodies don't rise to the top in cold water. They stay. They stay below. They don't float to the top.
Yeah, this is gonna sound really twisted, but fun fact: the Great Lakes are the only place to dump bodies at,
Mhm.
because anywhere else there's enough salt to actually bring up the bodies during the
Fucking
summer.
crazy.
Thank you, Sito.
I
won't know.
We now know what he does in his spare time.
Okay.
I won't fuck with him anymore.
It was a lake freighter. Length was 729 feet long.
That's a big fucking ship. That's a big fucking ship. I'm not gonna lie.
The beam was 75 feet. Draft was 25 feet.
That's a big fucking ship. And this is all obviously it's metal, like you know, and they don't know if. I mean, it's a theory that they weren't bolted
And it
properly.
was coal fired.
Coal fired.
So that means when that water hit those boilers, it was over.
Oh, they blew.
They blew right up.
Yeah, it's incredible. Like these two things that you guys brought here, like that. It amazes me. There's no conspiracy theory behind them. Obviously, like there's one little conspiracy theory, but it amazes me in the world that we are today. And well, I'm granted this is 100 years ago, 200 years ago, something like that almost.
Yeah.
But still, even at that point, like for two ships to sit there and collide with each other, and not know where the other ship is, and they're both on the same expedition. Right?
They were both on the same expedition,
Yeah.
and both of them are now sunk.
Yeah, and for yours, it's just a cargo ship that was just.
But it does say here, though, it was converted to 72,000 U.S. gallons of fuel,
Jesus Christ.
fuel oil, single fixed pitch propeller.
Wow. Well,
So,
that's fucking crazy.
but yet none of that came up.
It's still at the bottom
Yes, and it's
Oh, it's
two
cold
pieces,
water.
but the oil never came to the top.
because it's probably that much fucking cold. The water.
But they
just-
did when they did
has
dive
froze.
on it. They brought the bell from the Emmett Fitzgerald back up.
All right, we do have to take a break. Please go listen to some of our new sponsors this year. We do have new sponsors, and we'll be right back with this episode.
Are you a filmmaker, cosplayer, or special effects enthusiast looking to take your creations to the next level? Then look no further than New Rule FX. From realistic props to professional grade special effects equipment, New Rule FX has everything you need to bring your vision to life. Explore their extensive catalog of high quality products and unleash your creativity like never before. Visit our link in the description to shop now below.
Hey everybody, I'm JC3.
And I'm Mr. West.
And this episode is brought to you by Dubby. Made by professionals in the USA, Dubby was formulated to give you focus and energy with no jitters or crash.
No jitters.
Their formula contains vitamins, amino acids, including the patented Neurofactor. You know what Dubby doesn't give you?
What is that?
No calories,
No calories.
no sugars,
No sugar.
no fillers,
No fillers.
and no artificial flavors. When the raw ingredients arrive to their FDA-registered and inspected facility that strictly adheres to GMP guidelines, they undergo a quarantine while a small sample of each ingredient is taken to test for any impurities, while also being tested to ensure that the ingredients are actually what they are supposed to be and have the proper dosage.
And once the ingredients pass all the tests, then they're cleared to get mixed into the formula. So head on over to dubby.gg and use our offer code IsThisRealPC for 10% off your first order. That's DUBBY.GG and use the code IsThisRealPC for 10% off. They have great flavors such as Galaxy Grenade, Dub Sludge, Passion Joy Tea, Monkey Madness, and Dragonade. My personal favorites.
Dragonade right here. I got Dragonade right here. Delicious.
Drink Dubby.
And be better.
These products are not intended to diagnose, cure, or prevent any disease.
Who wants better sex? And who wants better sex starting now? The best way to get started is go to adamandeve.com.
Adam and Eve is offering 50% off just any item.
But that's not all. When you select your one item, you will also get 3 bonus items. That includes a gift for him, a special gift for her, and a gift you'll both like.
Plus 6 free movies for your viewing pleasure and free shipping.
There is discreet shipping as your privacy is priority. Plus 100% free shipping on your entire order.
Doesn't matter how much you spend or what you buy, it will all be packaged and sent discreetly for free.
Don't wait. Better sex is just one click away.
That's 50% off one item, 3 free gifts, 6 free movies, and free shipping.
Bring more pleasure and satisfaction to your bedroom.
Just go to adamandeve.com and select any one item. It could be an adventurous new toy or anything you desire.
Just enter code QUESTION at checkout.
That's question, QUESTION at adamandeve.com.
This exclusive offer is specific to this podcast only. So be sure at checkout you punch in the code QUESTION. That is QUESTION at checkout. And get your 50% off one item, 10 free gifts, and free shipping. Remember, use code QUESTION. Also remember to listen to Is This Real every Sunday at 8 o'clock with new episodes starting July 16th. Remember, everybody, question everything and put that question at the end of your checkout at adamandeve.com. Calling all cat lovers. Are you tired of your furry friend taking over your living space? Say hello to Cat Cave Co., your one-stop shop for all things stylish cat furniture. Their modern designs seamlessly blend into your home decor while providing your cat with a cozy sanctuary of their own. Discover the perfect piece for your feline friend today using the link in the description and reclaim your space without compromising your style. Your cat will thank you.
Hey, fellow truth seekers. Want to take your love for the Is This Real podcast to the next level? Check out our exclusive merchandise line designed for curious minds like yours in mind. From comfy tees and hoodies to stylish mugs and accessories, our merchandise is the best way for you to show your passion for unraveling the mysteries of the fucking universe. Visit our online store at isthisrealpc.com and gear up to explore the universe in style. Don't just listen, wear your curiosity with pride with Is This Real podcast merchandise.
Hey there, fellow truth seekers. Are you ready to dive deep into the mysteries of the universe? Look no further than eerie.com, your one-stop destination for all things mysterious and unexplained. From captivating podcast episodes to thought-provoking articles, our website is packed with fascinating content that will leave you questioning reality. Visit isthisrealpc.com today and join our community of curious minds as we explore the unknown together. Don't just wonder, discover the truth today at isthisrealpc.com. welcome back to our famous Shipwrecks episode. We just got done with 3 different shipwrecks. 2 of them collided with each other, which always boggles my fucking mind. One of them was just so heavy
Massive.
that it sank in the Great Lakes. Another, I didn't know there was that. You know, I really forget how big the Great Lakes actually are.
That's what I call them great.
I'll be completely honest with you.
Says it in the name.
No. Honestly, I agree with Joey because until you actually, because we're all used to looking at the American map, but it's like, oh yeah, that's not that big.
It's
But
just a lake.
I saw someone put the American map, and not even the American map. I saw someone put states over other countries. I'm like, oh, and then you put the Great Lakes over other countries, oh.
Yeah, it's crazy. Our country is fucking huge, and nobody realizes that until you actually see it. But we're gonna get back into shipwrecks now. Dad, you have a shipwreck, a famous shipwreck. Please let us know what the.
Well, I'm
going to
go with the Lusitania. That was
the Lusitania.
That was from the Cunard Line, and I believe it was 1904. It was launched in 1906. Okay, it was acquired actually in 1907, August of that year. The maiden voyage was September 7th, 1907. It was in service 1907 to 1915 until a German warboat blew it out of the water. Okay, it was sunk by a torpedo on May 7th, 1915. It was an ocean liner. Okay, now this thing was 31,550 raw tons.
Jesus fuck.
Okay. 44,060 long tons. I don't know what the difference in that is, but 787 feet wide or long. The height was 65 feet, which in today's, 65 feet in a boat today is a drop in a bucket. I mean, these things go,
Well, you're talking about 1915 or 1907.
Right. So,
where the first fucking U-boat was invented in 1990. So you're only 1890. Sorry, did I say 18 or 19?
It had
19.
10 overall.
I
It
said
had
19.
10 overall decks, 6 passenger decks, 4 for the crew.
Yeah, you're talking about the 20 years before this, you're still using wooden ships,
Right.
or steam ships.
What else? It was propelled by 4 triple blade propellers. It was a steam engine, a 4-acting Parsons steam turbine producing 76,000 horsepower. And now let's put that in perspective to what you had brought up. You had 30 horsepower, and this was a couple years later, and they're up to now. They're
It was about 40, 50 years later, right?
right. Okay.
Yeah.
Um.
Well, remember, the first U-boat was invented in 1890.
Okay.
So you're talking about 17 years, and now the U-boat is sinking, sinking a ship. And that this was the precursor to World War I, right?
Yeah. Well, it was actually, it was shot down. Yeah, to World War I. I'm sorry, it was just prior, 2 years prior. It had 552 first class peoples, 460 second class. Third class was 1186, whatever the hell that means. So all in all, the capacity held 2,198. A crew of 850. It was constructed. Let's see. With his sister ship, the Mauritania, were commissioned by Cunard. They were both constructed in the I can almost get this. Norddeutscher, Lloyd, and Hamburg American Line. They were faster. They were hard. Whatever. America, of course, is saying here that J.P. Morgan had invested in it.
Of course he did, because
right.
J.P. Morgan invested in every fucking boat that was back then.
When you got the money, you do it.
J.P. Morgan died on the Titanic, didn't he?
Yes, I believe he did.
Yeah, I believe he did. I believe he was one of the passengers that died in the Titanic, which we're going to talk about Titanic soon. Don't worry.
Now, when this thing went down, it went down quick. I mean, but there's a lot of things that people don't realize. There's a lot of theories of how it went down. Some people say it was carrying ammunition. Some people say the ammunition exploded. Some people say it was taken out by a German U-boat. There's no way of really knowing. But for that to be endangering the crew to carrying weaponry on it when you're out there as a passenger ship, really that bothers me. And that was one of the biggest ones of the.
Well, what I'm getting here,
day.
right? So, is that the British admiral had been tracking the movements of U-20, which is the U-boat that brought it down,
Right.
and it was commanded by the U-20 was commanded by Walter Schweiger. They were tracking them through wireless intercepts and radio direction finding. The submarine left Borkum at April 30th. On April 30th, heading northwest across the North Sea. On May 2nd, she reached the Peterhead and proceeded around the north of Scotland and Ireland, and then along the western and southern coast of Ireland to enter the Irish Sea from the south. Although the submarine's departure, destination, and expected arrival time were known to Room 40 in the Admiralty, the activities of the decoding department were considered so secret that they were unknown even to the normal intelligence division, which tracked enemy ships, or to the trade division responsible for warning merchant vessels. Only the very highest officers in the Admiralty saw the information and passed on warnings only when they felt it essential. So apparently they intercepted this on March 27th, clearly demonstrated that the Germans had broken the code used to pass messages to British merchant ships.
Right.
And then Queenstown was not given the warning and continued to give directions in the compromise code, which was not changed until after Lusitania's sinking.
It was pretty prolific too. It was on its 202nd crossing. It was going from Liverpool to New York. It was supposed to dock at the Prince's Landing stage later that afternoon. There was 1,264 passengers, 3 stowaways, and a crew of 693, which combined total of 1,960 people. They were running parallel to the coast of Ireland and were roughly 11 miles off Old Head of Kinsale, I guess it's part of Ireland, when the liner crossed in front of U-20 at 2:10 p.m. The commanding Walter Schweiger, the commanding officer of the U-boat, who claimed to have not identified the ship, gave the order to fire 1 torpedo. He reported that it struck Lusitania on the starboard bow just behind the bridge. Moments later, a second explosion erupted from within the Lusitania's hull where the torpedo had struck, and the ship began to founder rapidly with a prominent list to the starboard side. The crew scrambled to launch the lifeboats, but the conditions of the sinking made their usage extremely difficult, and in most cases it was impossible due to the severe list of the ship. Only 6 out of 48 lifeboats were launched. My God, that's not very successful. With several more overturning and breaking apart. 18 minutes after the torpedo struck, the ship's trim leveled out, and she sank at a position of, 51 degrees, 20, whatever that is.
Yeah, she sank.
Right. The funnels and masts, were the last to disappear.
That's why we're talking about it, because it sank.
Right. On that fateful day, 1,197 people lost their lives. In the hours after the sinking, acts of heroism amongst the survivors tried to, and the Irish rescuers who had heard word of Lusitania's distress signals brought the survivor count to 767, 4 whom later died.
So I'm looking at the.
It's just really fucked up.
I'm looking at the track, and I'll put this on the screen when I go to edit. I'm looking at the track of Lusitania. Lusitania was coming straight across under Ireland. It looks like the U-boat made a U-turn to intercept it.
Yeah, probably. If they intercepted the signals, yeah.
You could tell in the picture once you see it on the. You could tell there's an actual U-turn.
Where did they bury the bodies? In Ireland?
I don't know. If they sunk and they lost, they're probably still down there.
They didn't get the people that
You're
sunk.
not going to bring bodies. Like, there's still people trapped in Titanic.
I know that.
They saved 767 people, and then 4 later died.
Yeah, you're not going to bury those people. They're alive.
Don't make me. I'm just asking you.
Well, let me ask you, where they buried the survivors? I want to know.
I said the people that died, were they in the water?
Yes.
Yeah,
They found them in the water, so they had to bury them somewhere. That's what I'm trying to say.
No, you never bring up bodies after a
No.
thing.
Well, are you saying that
They're floated on the water, and they found them.
I don't know.
So they would just let them float away?
I mean, it could be like Jack and the Titanic. They just sink. Body loses air. There's no air to keep it afloat, so
they even buried the bodies of the people that were lost on the Titanic.
No, I know.
Well, anyway, on the 6th of October 1935, 11 miles off the coast of they finally found the wreckage, and they wound up bringing up one of the propellers, and it's now in Kinsale
Ireland.
And you can go there and touch it and visit it and do whatever. Well, based on the picture, I don't think you can touch it. It's around a fence.
No, I think they
It's
might
in the
shoot
back of a
you.
fence. But yeah, it's one of the worst ones that was ever sunk on purpose.
Before we get to the Titanic one, Joshua, do you have
Yes.
a boat that you want to talk about?
No. Seeing
No?
as how I'm going on a cruise next week, I don't
he
want to talk
doesn't-
about any boat
doesn't want to
This
crashing.
is a pretty fucking.
Sorry, buddy.
So we'll come back to this episode in a few weeks after Josh steps on that boat.
Shut up,
Yeah.
Sito.
Unc, please stop.
All right, so I do want to talk about the Titanic. I'm not going to get into the story of the Titanic because we all know what the fuck happened with the Titanic.
Correct.
That is the most, besides maybe the sinking of the
They
boat,
just
the
hit
ships in Pearl
iceberg. They
Harbor.
were taking on ice. That's what they need.
Maybe besides the sinking of boats in Pearl Harbor, this is probably the most famous shipwreck.
No boats sunk in Pearl Harbor. They were torpedo or bomb.
Warships.
There's a difference.
Boats, they float
There was enough room on that door for Jack.
for Jack. Yes, there was.
I'm just
I will
saying.
go down and
Just
Oh yeah, just in case you haven't watched the movie, spoiler alert: the ship sinks.
yeah. All the
Spoiler
ships.
alert,
Dude, why would
it's
you
like
watch
a
the movie knowing that
30-year-old
damn thing's
movie?
gonna sink at the end?
All right, the one I do want to talk about,
Something just
which is the biggest. I'm gonna go conspiracy theory route with this. Ready?
Okay.
The biggest one is the Olympic exchange, which is the Titanic sister ship. The biggest theory is that the Olympic was the one who actually sank, and the Titanic was the one, the sister ship that made its passage voyage.
Okay, so if we're gonna go that way, I'm gonna ask you, where is that ship right now? I'm gonna play the Pope for a minute. I'm the Pope.
So, one of the controversial and elaborate theories surrounding the sinking of the Titanic was advanced by Robin Gardner in his book Titanic, the Ship That Never Sank. Gardner draws on several events and coincidences that occurred in the months, days, and hours leading up to the sinking of the Titanic, and concludes that the ship that sank was in fact the Titanic's sister ship, the Olympic, disguised as the Titanic, in the biggest insurance scam of all time by its owners. The International Mercantile Marine Group, controlled by American financier J.P. Morgan, that had acquired the White Star Liner in 1902. Researchers Bruce Beveridge and Steve Hall took issue with many of Gardner's claims in the book Olympic and the Titanic, The Truth Behind the Conspiracy Theory. Author Mark Chirnside has also raised serious questions about the switch theory. British historian Gareth Russell, for his parts, calls the theory so painfully ridiculous that no one can lament the thousands of trees which lost their thousands of trees that lost their lives to provide the paper on which it has been articulated. So let's get into the actual theory. So what the theory is that they moved some, they took some names and switched the ships
Yes.
without anybody knowing.
Well, that wouldn't be that hard to do.
And I want to know, the more I'm looking into it, the more I'm trying to figure out, like, how. You know?
I gotta ask a question. If that's the case, can we talk about, does anyone know exactly what the Titanic and the sister ship look like? Like, were they identical ships to the point where that theory could have been made? Or
I
were
believe-
they different enough where someone could have noticed, but apparently no one else really caught on that they were two different ships, or that they did
I believe
trickery?
if I'm correct, the Olympic was a little bit smaller than what the Titanic was. The Titanic was the bigger ship. And one key evidence that can be found in the construction of the ships, each had a distinct construction identification number, also known as a yard number, that appeared on many of their parts, including their wood paneling. It is well documented that the Olympic's yard number was 400, while the Titanic's was 401. Multiple artifacts bearing the number 401 have been raised from the Titanic, and the items auctioned off from the Olympic, which was retired in 1935. And items auctioned off after the Olympic was retired in 1935 was featured with the number 400. So basically, what they're saying is if you look at some pictures of the Titanic, it says the yard number is 400.
Yeah.
Which can be easily doctored if you just know how to fucking use a Photoshop.
According to this, there was 2 ships. It was the Olympic and the Britannic. And the Britannic sunk. And the Atlantic was chopped up for parts. So, I mean...
Wait, now hold on.
Now there's 3
Titanic.
ships?
Yeah, Titanic is so
Wait.
fucking confusing. Was there 3 identical ships then?
The way I got the picture here, and I got the picture of 2 of them, and they look exactly the same. Now, of course, it's a black and white photo. Who knows? I don't know what it is. We would have to really do a little research into that. But well, if this guy's trying to say that these ships were so much alike, I would imagine they're pretty much close to being exactly alike. With like I said, with the Britannic being sunk, and then all of a sudden they chop up the Olympic for parts in 1935, I believe it was. So, I mean, there might be some.
But the biggest thing is
I don't know.
for insurance fraud, and also apparently the theory goes that they were trying to, J.P. Morgan was trying to kill the big 3 businessmen that were on there. But J.P. Morgan fucking died on the ship.
You know, prior to that, the Titanic sailing, there was a fire.
Yes, there was a
A
fire,
fire
on
board
the
the ship.
Apparently, it's supposed to be where the exact location of where the iceberg hit the
Because
ship.
it weakened. They're saying it weakened steel,
Yes, but
which is possible. but-
speculation that the Olympic, which was damaged in 1911 collision with the HMS Hawke, a British warship, was sunk in place of the Titanic as a part of insurance fraud scheme to build an entirely new boat with the Titanic's policy also doesn't hold up. In part because the Titanic wasn't insured for its full construction value. The ship cost $7.5 million to build, but was insured for only $5 million, meaning that the sinking of the ship would be a financial loss. But the murderers claim that the Titanic was sunk to kill 3 powerful men, opposed the creation of the Federal Reserve. Benjamin Guggenheim, Isidor Straus, and John Jacob Astor also has no foundation. Straus spoke favorably of the central banking system on multiple occasions, and there is no known public record of Guggenheim or Astor's views on the matter. Plus, there would have been no guarantee that all 3 men would have died. So that is that claim right there.
Well, the part of that theory also, Joey, is the Britannic, the one that was sunk, was supposed to be sunk for. They were trying to get money for it, and between the money of the supposedly sinking of the Titanic and the Britannic, they were going to build an even bigger, because there was a race of who can get to build the bigger ships. Following the company's idea of naming its ship after Greek mythology, it was going to be called the Gigantic, in reference to the race of giants. Like the Olympic, Britannic took part in the First World War. The Royal Navy confiscated the ship from the company and put it to work as a hospital ship. So, I mean, look, who knows? You know, it's a nice, it's a nice theory. But you need a little more evidence.
So as far as the fire, I know we're a little over time, Joshua, but we'll finish this real quick. The fire theory goes. A lot of experts disagree that the area in which the ship was hurt by the fire, it would have caused it to break or anything like that. The bunker fire would have not have weakened the watertight bulkhead sufficiently to cause it to collapse. It has also been alternatively suggested that the coal bunker fire also helped Titanic to last longer during the sinking and prevented the ship from rolling over to starboard after impact due to the subtle port list created by the moving of the coal inside the ship prior to the encounter with the iceberg. Some of these foremost Titanic experts have published a detailed rebuttal of these claims.
Yes.
Now, granted, these are experts who sit there and say this. I mean, there's other theories that you could sit here and get into if you wanted to. You have there's a long one right here. It's the expansion joint hypothesis about where it actually broke while sinking. You have it deliberately sunk, but I think we talked about that with the 3 of the people killing, and then pack ice theory is not a conspiracy theory. since it accepts the sinking was an accident. However, it differs from commonly accepted theories and is considered plausible by the vast majority of historians. But yeah, so there's a lot of different conspiracy theories with the Titanic, most notably the switch one, which a lot of people have debunked throughout the years many times over. But does anybody have anything?
I think it was just human error and ignorance that sunk it.
It could be. I'm not going to say it can't be.
Because,
Yeah. All right, so anybody have any more? I know Josh was like, enough with this. I'm going on a boat. What the fuck, people?
Yeah, seriously.
Enough with the boat sinking.
you'll be fine.
Nothing?
No, I mean,
Okay.
for me, no.
Yeah, Josh, you didn't talk a lot this episode, please.
Well, yeah, because I don't want my boat to sink, you motherfuckers.
Josh just walk on the boat like this.
Exactly. I'm sitting there like,
He's
don't sink,
gonna join the submarine.
don't sink, don't sink. I'm not like those morons.
Yeah, so we will we'll see you guys next week for next week's episode. Everybody say goodnight.
Good night.
Good night, everybody.
Good night,
Next
everybody.
week we're talking about the black carpet. Ooh. But remember, go to isthisrealpc.com. Go look at all of the new sponsors that we have this season. And please go subscribe and listen to everything we have on Green Hour Media on YouTube. And go look at that link tree. It's the Green Hour Media link tree, which you can find on all of our social media sites. But we'll catch you guys next week. Thank you guys for joining us. Remember, everybody, question everything. Good night. Hey there, fellow truth seekers. Are you ready to dive deep into the mysteries of the universe? Look no further than isisraelpc.com, your one-stop destination for all things mysterious and unexplained. From captivating podcast episodes to thought-provoking articles, our website is packed with fascinating content that will leave you questioning reality. Visit isisraelpc.com today and join our community of curious minds as we explore the unknown together. Don't just wonder, discover the truth today at isisraelpc.com.